I'm at Thoroughfare Gap, Virginia, and this is Beverly Mill Road. And I'm going to hike today in the Bull Run Mountain Conservancy. There's what the road looks like coming down here. This is the parking area where hikers can park. Yep, there it is, my little red car. And I got to continue on down the end of the road here and turn right and cross over the rail line. And then we're going to hike up to the north, up this way, up into Bull Run Mountain. I may not call out elevations. The elevation right here is about 400 feet. Well, it's closed right now, but at the end of this road, past through that gate and down there just a little ways is an old historic mill, the ruins of it, the Chapman Mill. I think it's also goes by the name Beverly Mill. I'm going to backtrack over here to the left and cross over the rail line. This is where the hiking trailhead is over here. Here's the rail line coming through the gap. That way's looking to the east. And that way's heading west through the gap. The mill's down there on the left. This rail line was here during Civil War times. It was called the Manassas Gap Railroad. And here's the trailhead over here. Well, you used to be able to go to the left or to the right. Now they've closed off the trail to the left, so you just go straight across the tracks and take the right-hand branch here. Okay, well, once you get in here, maybe a tenth of a mile, you can go to the left, and that'll put you back onto the Green Blaze Trail. So, and that Green Blaze Trail is what takes you past the historic structures. So let's take a left and go this way, see if we can get over there. Four-tenths of a mile into my hike, and I'm going to turn right here because that map at the entrance was saying that the old Chapman Cemetery is right up here. So let's go up here first, and then we'll come back and we'll head over here and see if we can see the mill and whatnot. Okay, here's the Chapman Cemetery. It's got a nice wall around it that's capped off. And I'll go inside and we'll get a couple of shots. There's a good sized monument right there. So let's go in here and see what we have. Before I go in, right there, somebody buried outside the cemetery. There's probably some other ones too, but it's kind of overgrown. Here's one that's knocked over. It says, "To the memory of our dear mother, Susan Pearson, consort of George Chapman, born May 20, 1780, died April 14, 1856. Okay, I backtracked. Now I'm back onto the green trail, and this big hole in the ground that's lined with stone, this was the ice pit. And right there is a ladder that's tied to the post there. I guess so that people that work in here can get down in there. Here's another shot of the ice pit from the other side. Maybe you can see it's lined with stones. That road noise is Interstate 66. It's pretty bad. Here's the ruins of the mill. I'll try and get some better pictures. I'll move around a little bit. Maybe I can get some better shots from a different angle. Just behind the mill, there's a trace of an old road going up the side of the mountain. So down there's the railroad tracks, Norfolk Southern rail line. Over there's the mill. And back here looks like part of the, what's left of the rock quarry, a trench where they quarried out the stone heading on up the side of the mountain. So the green trail's over there, and this area here is, according to the map, was called the upper mill. There's a corner of something there, and then over here is some more overgrown. I'll walk up there, and there's something, I see something up this way too. So let's go up here and investigate. That freight train coming through was scary because you couldn't even hear it coming on account of the road noise from I-66. Anyway, down there is Broad Run. I wish there was a way to get down there safely, but you'd have to cross the rail line to get down there, plus it's really steep. So I'm just going to stay up here on the trails where it's safe. .4 miles into my hike, I'm up to 525 feet. I'm up on the ridge line now, a little bit north of the mill. And this ditch here, this trench here, is a continuation of the Quarry Trench that I showed you at the bottom, right behind the mill. It comes all the way up here and continues on up the mountain for a ways here. Now, there used to be a sign up here, I don't see it anymore, that explained that this trench was here during the Civil War, and there was a battle fought here, the Battle of Thoroughfare Gap, and the armies used these trenches as handy fighting positions up here because they're already dug out, number one, and number two, they're up here on the summit. So anybody that tried to come over the mountain instead of going through the gap is going to get blasted. Two miles into my hike, that's where I came from. I followed that road down off the ridge line. So I'm down around 500 feet elevation now. And I don't know. I think this stop is stop number 4, maybe. There's no number there anymore. But I see here that this is where the green and the red trails come together. So I'm going to follow this red trail down this way just a little bit, and because I think there's another cemetery, Dawson Family Cemetery, down this way. So let me go down this way, and then I may have to backtrack to this point here. Okay, up there's where I came from. And I came down here and I went on down into the valley there and up the other end a little ways. And then I thought, well, I wonder what this little trail here is that's not marked. Let's see if the cemetery's in here. .3 miles into my hike. The elevation here is about 510. And okay, here it is. So you have to look for that turn off to the left, unmarked little trail. I'll take some still pics. I see one engraved headstone. That big humongous tree is actually, looks like it's growing into the headstone. Now it's kind of interesting, right here before you actually get into the cemetery, there's to me that kind of looks like a headstone, or a marker, excuse me. And then over here on the other side of the trail, there's another one. So there might be some burials outside the walls here. But I'll go in, let's go in and we'll get some pictures inside. Okay, that says sacred to the memory of William Dawson, who was born something the 2nd, 1802, died, I guess that's November 11th, 1850, maybe 1851, 51 years. That's a little hard to read. It's kind of chipped off there at the end. If anybody's buried to the left of William Dawson, they got completely covered up by this huge tree. And it's a big one. Wow, look at that thing. Holy cow. So behind the walled off part is some more burials back here. There's one there. Another one's there. Another one here. Let's see if this one is engraved. Nope, doesn't look like it. Here's another one right there. And here's probably another one right here. And then even further back behind the cemetery is another one right there. See that? And who knows, there might be a few more back in here. And then you get, this is the edge of the rise though. Once you get past that, it starts to drop off pretty steep. Hold on a second, let me just walk back here. Alright, there's another one back there. There's another one right there. And another one right here. That looks like another one there. And then beyond that, oh, oops, almost stepped on one right there. That one's sunken, almost sunken completely in. This looks like that might be another one there. So, oops, pardon me, I just stepped on one. My apologies. And then after that, it just drops off into the creek. So, there's a whole bunch of them back in here. That might be another one back there, going down the side. So it looks like you had like a road coming back in here, and right here on the end, outside the cemetery walls, there was a bunch of burials, and then back there is the walled off part. .7 miles into my hike, I backtracked from the cemetery on the red trail back here onto the green, and I'm hoping to hike this in a clockwise loop. Getting ready to cross over. Right there is Catlett's Branch. So, and I'm getting ready to cross over right here on this green trail. So I'm going to keep following this. Hopefully it is going to take me around in a loop past an old homestead and maybe another cemetery. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, I've been following the green, and after a while I knew I was going the wrong way because the distance to my desired destination kept going up, and now I'm like almost 8/10 of a mile away from it, and I'm hiking in the wrong direction. But I'm following the green. I think I'm going to end up back down near the Chapman Mill. So, assuming that's where I'm going to end up, then I'm not gonna bother to try to get up to the other homestead in the cemetery. I'll have to work on that. I mean, this isn't the first hike I've ever taken, but when you don't have maps, and you're just following these roads and stuff, after a while, what I should have done was I should have done what I usually do, which is when I get to a certain point, I get out my compass and I get a bearing off my GPS and I just bushwhack, you know, because I mean, you know, this stuff isn't too bad. It's uphill here, but you know, this isn't terrible. So anyway, but no, I'm just going to keep following this, and we'll see where we end up. But I got a funny feeling it's going to be down near the mill. Well, look at that. Here I am back at the mill. So I obviously took a wrong turn somewhere. I was on the green, but the green did not take me where I wanted to go. And since I'm down close to my car, I think I'm just going to head back to my car now and call it a day. I'll tell you what happened when I do the map talk. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Thoroughfare Gap, 1966, and this is the area that I hiked. Now, none of the trails are shown on this quadrangle map, so instead of using that, I'm going to talk to this map, which is a map that they post at the trailhead. It would be nice if they would take a picture of this map and put it on their website. But what I ended up doing instead was just taking a picture of it with my camera and then referring back to it. The problem with this map is that there isn't any coordinate information on it, like latitude and longitude. But anyway, down here you've got Interstate 66, and you have Route 55, and then this line right here is the railroad line coming through there, Norfolk Southern Railroad line. And when you come down Beverly Mill Road on the left, you'll see a little pull-off parking area right here. Get out of your car and continue walking down the road to here, and then you'll see the trailhead. You cross over the rail line, and be careful because this is an active line, and there's so much noise from the interstate that you can't hear trains coming. All of a sudden they just appear out of nowhere. Now these trails are a lot different than they used to be. I hiked some of this about 6 years ago, and since then they've closed off some of the trails. On their website they say it's because of too much vegetation's been trampled down and so forth. Anyway, what I did was I came across here, and there used to be 2 trails right here at the trailhead, but now there's just one. So you come up this red trail a short distance, and then you can turn left and get on this green trail. Now this green trail takes you over here to the old historic structures. There's a legend up here with numbers on it of the different items. Now, what's kind of curious is I don't even see the mill on here, but the mill's right in here. Oh, excuse me, the mill is okay. Here's Broad Run, so the mill's right about here. It's next to Broad Run. And this number 1 is the Ice House. And Meadowlands was the name of their house, but I didn't see it. I think it's completely overgrown in the summer. But you can see the Ice House, the ice pit. Then I came up the hill a little ways. Oh, excuse me. Then I came over this way, all the way over here to item number 6, which is the ruins of the Upper Mill. Then I backtracked, and right here on the red is the Chapman Cemetery. And then if you continue to climb on up the mountain, when you get to here, you'll find part of a trench that was part of a quarry, and it starts down here and starts running up the side of the mountain, and right here you can actually cross over it. And then I followed this red trail for quite a ways up to this intersection, and then I continued on the red back down this way and turned left and over to here. This is the other cemetery, the Dawson Cemetery. Okay, then I backtracked up to here, and then right here at this item number 4, the confluence, this is where I got all turned around. What I wanted to do was I wanted to take a right and come over this way to this old, to the Quorum House, and then down this way to 9, which is another cemetery. But I got turned around. Instead of hiking clockwise, I ended up on the green going this way, counterclockwise. About the time I got up to here and made this left turn, I knew I was hiking in the wrong direction. And I could have gone back, but I decided not to. I just followed this all the way back down this loop, back down to here. When I got to here, this is the ruins of the Upper Mill, and then just back to here, which is the main mill, the Chapman's Mill. And then I just finished my loop back out like this. So one of these days I'll go back and come up here and take this yellow trail and follow that over to here and pick up the green trail again, and maybe come up this way and do this loop like this. That would be a nice hike to do like that. So the hike I took today might be hard to see with the glare, but it's 4.2 miles and about 546 feet of ascent. So nice little hike. This is a nice area. When you're hiking down here in this area, though, it's very, very noisy. You've got Interstate 66 down here, which is really loud. You've got Route 55, and then you got this railroad grade all coming through this narrow gap down through here. So it's a pretty pretty noisy, pretty busy place. Once you get up higher on the mountain, up in this area, it's nice and quiet though. And that was the hike for today.